Welcome to this new TouchDesigner tutorial. Today I will show you a new component I made. This component allows you to slow down a feedback loop and give you like this result that iterates really slow. You can specify how slow you want it. So if we set this to 1, it's just a normal regular feedback loop as you know it. And we can slow it down all the way to 32 frames between every iteration. We will do this without lowering the FPS because the only thing I could find online previously was lowering the FPS, the only solution to how to slow down a feedback loop. But I didn't want to do that because then you'd lose this smooth movement. In this video I'm going to show you how to make the whole structure. If we go in here you can see this is it. The main functioning is putting new feedback tops between the output composition and the normal feedback top, and then choosing how much you want to do between them. So these are 32, and I made a selector how much of those we're going to use. So to clarify, I'm going to make the most simple slowed down feedback loop. Like this above is a regular feedback loop. If we were to scale this down and reference this feedback top to this composition, we would get our normal feedback stuff. But if we were to add a feedback top extra, and we were to reference this composition to this feedback loop and this feedback loop to this feedback loop, we will slow it down by 1 frame, because after the first frame, this feedback loop will copy this, and then the next frame this will copy that. And by adding just a lot of these and wiring it up correctly, we can slow down our feedback loop. If you like this idea and wish to support me, or if you're just too lazy to build this structure yourself, I've uploaded this and other files to my Patreon. It would mean the world to me, as it makes this channel possible, and I really like doing this stuff, so thanks a lot. As usual, I will delete this entire structure and start from scratch, so you can follow along and create this component yourself. First we'll need a rectangle, and we're going to set this resolution to 1080 1080. We're gonna increase the size a bit. Then we're gonna need an edge. You can do anything you want here. This is just so we can see what the feedback loop does, and I like this square. Then next up we're going to we can press Alt N and get a null, and then we're gonna make a regular feedback loop. So feedback transform, I usually add blur, a level, then a composite, then connect this all up. And then another null. Then you're gonna select this and right click and press collapse selected. We can call this feedback loop. We can go in here by either zooming in and zooming out, or pressing I on your keyboard, or U to exit. Okay, next up will be, we're gonna place this a bit up, and now usually we would we can fill in a target top for the feedback, and usually we would put in this component. So this would be our regular feedback loop, and then we would set this to add. And now let's see, turn the blur down. Oh, and we need a keyword in to reset the feedback loop. We're going to add a null here because later we're going to add something that if we change the index on the custom component, so if we change the picker how much delay we want, that it automatically resets everything, because it gets really ugly if we don't. So add this null, and we can reference this pulse button by dragging it on here and pressing chop reference. And now if we press 1, you can check it by changing something so that the feedback loop works. Now if we press 1, it resets. Awesome. What we're gonna do is we're going to delete this because we don't want that, and we're going to add more feedback tops. And the general idea, as I explained earlier, is to reference this composition to that feedback top, and then that feedback top to this one. So this doesn't work because it says not enough sources specified, so the solution is just place a null here and put it in there, and now it magically works. We're going to copy this until we hit feedback 32. So just do that, and just do that and make sure it lines up neatly. We'll correct the placing of the rest later. See how much have I got? 24. Oh, and make sure the numbering is correct. So this is feedback 1 and 2, 3. We're going to use that later in the picker, so we need these numbers to be correct. All right, now we can all hook it up, and what we need to do is all these arrows now point to all these feedback loops. What we need to do is we place these down here to make it a bit more tidy. The first one is correct. This composition needs to go into this feedback. Yes, that's correct. I'm sorry. Place this just a bit more here. This one is correct. This needs to feedback into there, and then we need to do this, like drag them on the next one. So just do that. Okay, now make sure the last connection is feedback 2 to feedback 1. Now we need to select all of these. You can do that by pressing Shift and selecting them all. Let's see. Because they're doing funny stuff now. We need to reference this null to the pulse, and now because we selected them all, it will go there at once, and we can select reset our whole thing with just one press of a key. Now we need to select all of our nulls, so just do the same thing by pressing and holding Shift while you select. And now we need to feed this null into all of them. In theory, everything should be working now. So if we were to, I think in the showcase I used an LFO and put the frequency on something like 0.1 and connected the this LFO to the rotate, and I believe if we go here, and just scale it down a bit, we should have our original image. So the slowing down works now. The only thing now is that it always runs to through 32 feedbacks. So we need to make a selector in like the basic theory of the selector will be changing the text in this first feedback loop. So if it's now feedback 2, but if we make it feedback 3, it will only be delayed by 31 frames and 29. So if we reference this to the original composition, it will just be a normal feedback loop. Now for the selector, the first thing we're going to do is create a constant and call our channel picker. This will be the value that we modify from the custom component. Add a null, and let's see, this we can drag this on top of the feedback 1, and then let's see, I have to check. We're going to fill in, leave this here, and single parentheses feedback, and then plus, let's see, yeah, we have to do, what we're gonna do is, this is basically a string, so this is just a line of text, and we're going to add the number that we put in here after the feedback. So we want to get feedback 2, 3, and now in a constant, this is normally a float, so a floating point number is like with decimals, so 1.8, but we need an integer, so we're going to do int, open brackets and close them at the end, and then we need to convert it to a string, so str open and another bracket at the end, and it should now say feedback 0, and now we broke our feedback loop because there is no feedback 0. We're going to add just one moment. Yeah, I think we need to go out of the structure by pressing U, and then open this dual view mode, and on the left side we right click this component and do customize component, and we add a page. You can leave this blank and it will create a custom page. Then on the right side of the window we're going into the feedback loop by pressing I, and then we're just going to do some quick we need to delete this LFO, delete, and just make this 0 again. And now we can drag all the parameters we want and drag it in there and bind new par as master. And now you can see, if we click the feedback loop and go to custom, we can control the parameter from outside. So this is really useful. So just connect everything you want into here. Master, I usually do translate, scale, and rotate for the transform. Then for the blur, pre-shrink, and filter size. And then for the level, just brightness. And then we're going to add select a float here and do picker, add par, drag it all the way down. Wait, we can I think I called it differently. I think I called it frames, because this will be the amount of frames we will delay. And this, we can set some defaults here. The default will be 1 because the feedback 1 is our default. You can't have 0 frames delay because then it wouldn't be a feedback loop at all. The minimum range will also be 1 and the maximum range will be 32. Alright, now we can close this down for now. Then we'll go to our constant and drag this. So hold on the text, drag it onto the 0 and to reference. And now if we change this, it will go up. But now if we set it to 1, it will still not work because it will try to reference itself. And if we go to 2, if we go to 2, it would delay 31 frames because it goes through here and then it would skip just that. So we need to reverse it. It seems a bit complicated now, but it'll make sense in a minute. So we need to, let's see, I think it is, yeah, we need to do 34 minus the text that was already there. So if we go to 1 frame delay, so just a normal feedback loop, it will say 33. And now you'll think we get feedback 33. We don't have that. We're going to use a little trick. We're going to call this composition feedback 33. I know it's not a feedback, but it just makes it a lot easier. And we say yes to all. And now if we have 1 here, it says 33. The feedback will reference feedback 33, aka the composition. So now it's just a normal feedback loop. So all this in between does nothing. If we go to 2, oh wait, I forgot something. We need to go to customize component and to picker and change this to an int. So it's an integer. So now it's just whole steps. If we go to 10, it will say 24. And if we go higher, it will go lower and lower. And if we delay it by 33, it will say feedback 2. Why is it? Yeah, feedback 2. So now it goes all the way through here. So in theory, our system is working now. So if we go here, it goes really fast. But you can see that if we change it, it gets all glitchy. So we have to make something that resets it every time we move this slider. Okay, you can close this double view down. So by pressing this square, and we'll go up here. And previously we added a null here. That's useful because we need to add stuff in between. We're going to add a math and just leave this for now, and then go to that and choose chop execute. This is a bit of Python, don't be afraid, it's going to be relatively easy and you can just copy it. I will try to explain it, but if you don't understand, just copy my text and it will work. This chop execute needs chop to listen to, so we're going to drag this on here and you see it says null 34. And we can select which on which operation it will do something. So if this value would be 0 and it would be a button, so if you press the button it would be 1, you could do something from the transition off to on, or while on, or on to off, or while off. We'll just need value change because we want it to do something, reset the feedback loop if the value changes. So we can go in here, you can press this little icon and zoom in, and we can delete all of this, all these definitions, and only leave on value change. Now go out of the chop execute and add a constant. Here, just let's make a little more room. Okay. We're going to place this a bit more down, and we're going to make the following structure. Add a delay and set the delay to 0.01. Then press Alt N, get a null, select this one, press Alt N again. Then let's move this a bit back. Then a math. And then to combine chop and subtract. Yes, that's perfect. And then feed this into this math and do the same thing. No, this should be add. So what we're basically going to do is every time the value changes, we're going to increase this by 1. So first value change, second value change. And what happens is if I increase this delay a bit, when something changes, this one goes up, so this channel goes up and this channel goes up, but this channel goes up ever so slightly later. And because we were subtracting the two from each other, like the next value change, this will be 4 and this will be 3, and it will be 1 for a really short amount of time. And 1 is exactly the key we're pressing to reset the feedback loop. So if we change this to 4, you can see it will press. Now, this is way too long, so that's why we're setting this to 0.01. And now all we need to do is increase this value. We're going to do that by entering the following text. Value, so this is a variable, equals operator constant 2. So this constant, close it down, dot parameter dot value 0. If we would need another value like the third one, this would be 2. So the first one is value 0, value 1, value 2, but we don't need it now. Then next you can do operator. Oh wait, you can copy this. Let's see. And then equals value plus 1.0. So what it does, you can do 1. It checks, it stores the current value. So 4, it stores it into value, and then it sets this value to value plus 1. That's basically what's happening. So if we go press this double view again and go out and select feedback loop and change the frames, you should see this will be increasing, and every time we increase it, we will reset the feedback loop. Okay, now we can slow down our feedback loop. You can customize this view and layout a bit. If you go in here and customize component, I think I inserted let's see, a header above each page. So translate, place it here. And if you enable section on this one, you get a line. So we have translate, and can do rotate and section and section, and you get a nice view like this. If you want to do that, be my guest. I think in mine I added something like, let's see, I've got it right here. This is how it looks. I added like credits and blur, feedback blur. You can do that if you want to. Then if you want to save it, I'm gonna call this tutorial, feedback loop tutorial. You can go to open up this side palette and scroll all the way down to my components. And I've already have a folder called FX, but you can add a folder and call it whatever you want and open it, and then you can just drag it in and you'll have it ready whenever you need it. So from now on you can go in there and place it and make something cool really quick, like if you want to do a circle and then edge, feed it in there, null, and make something delay it a bit, maybe scale it out. I don't know. Anything. You can make anything you want. If this tutorial has helped you, please consider subscribing and checking out my Patreon. I've got this component up there and also all my show files. It really helps because making this is a lot of work. So thanks for considering and have a great day.